I'm actually quite worried about Ray Fisher's career. But let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. Right, moving on to some Ant-Man 3 news. Apparently, according to Grace Randolph, that chestnut, Ant-Man 3, will introduce the Fantastic Four to the MCU. So this is something that I saw and I was like, oh, this is quite interesting, because it does actually make sense, because Ant-Man 3 is being directed by Peyton Reed, and Peyton Reed is a very, very big fan of the Fantastic Four, and actually made it very, very, very clear that he was actually trying to get the gig for directing that movie. That gig eventually went to John Watts, who is the Spider-Man director. He directed Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man Homecoming. He's directing Spider-Man 3 at the moment. So it would make sense to me that Marvel and Kevin Feige might say, you know what, you're not directing the Fantastic Four movie, but you can use the characters. You can use the characters in your movie, and you can introduce them. You can introduce audiences to the new Fantastic Four, to the MCU's Fantastic Four. I think that's a great idea. So I just want to get the tweet up for you guys. So Grace Randolph, here's some MCU tea for you guys. Yeah, Marvel is looking for Fantastic Four actors right now, and will likely go with smaller, highly regarded actors rather than a big name. Also, theories that they'll be introduced in Ant-Man 3, are correct, but one member could even show up earlier on a Disney Plus. So she's saying that one of those characters could come to could be introduced before in a Disney Plus Marvel series, which is another. Actually, I did write about that on the site. You can go and find that article now. So what she's saying that they're going to go with smaller, highly regarded actors rather than a big name. So who's a smaller, highly regarded actor? Well, we did post. We were told by sources. We do have our sources by inside sources that Dacre Montgomery, Emily Blunt, and John Krasinski are in talks to star in the Fantastic Four film. So that would be Krasinski would be playing Reed Richards, Emily Blunt would be playing Susan Storm, and Dacre Montgomery would be playing her brother, who I forget, Johnny Storm. I almost forgot his name. They're the names that we were told. Of course, it's not really early on now, but a lot of people have been really demanding almost that Marvel casts the Krasinski and Blunt in those roles. They're not, I wouldn't call them big names though. I think John Krasinski is pretty well known, I suppose, he's done, but he still is the guy from The Office, and when you say highly regarded actors, I mean, you can't get more highly regarded than Krasinski and Emily Blunt. Emily Blunt is a fantastic actor. Dacre Montgomery is also a fantastic and highly regarded actor. He's not a particularly big name. He's been in Stranger Things, but apart from that, he was in the Power Rangers movie, and that's about it. But the idea of them turning up in Ant-Man 3, I think is interesting. I'd be very much for it. But let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. Right, moving on to the Spawn reboot. So this is an interesting one. So the Spawn movie is being